This is your podcast news with Samantha and Mika. Our first story of this episode. A car park in Germany has unveiled special diversity spaces which appeared to be reserved for LGBT+ and migrant drivers. Hanauer Parkhaus GmbH created 3 dedicated spots at its underground car park in Hanau city centre. The wall behind the cars is painted in rainbow colours with the bold lettering that says diversity spaces in German. City Councillor Thomas Morlock explained that the aim was to help people who feel a particular need for protection. He added that the action was necessary when responding to the homophobic and xenophobic reactions to its unveiling. It wasn't immediately clear how the authorities intended to monitor whether people who park in the spaces are actually queer or migrants, though HPG said a camera would monitor the car park. One Twitter user questioned the need for such spaces. Child and old age poverty, single mothers at their financial limit, pensioners who have to live on bottle deposits and leftovers from garbage cans. But for Thomas Morlock, there is nothing more important than setting an example for tolerance. Another user commended the idea, but was concerned about potential subsequent threats, saying, "Okay, the intention is good, but I wouldn't stand on it, because you're asking someone to slit open their tyres." Morlock tried to clarify that the spaces are not necessarily intended for a separate group of people, but are free to be used by any driver who wants to take a position against hatred and exclusion. The parking spaces are not reserved, they are intended for everyone, he said.
Oh god.
Yep.
All right, so
Did you like my news voice, by the way?
Yeah, that was
okay,
lovely.
that was great, wasn't it?
The first thing, when we heard about these news, we felt a bit uncomfortable.
Yeah. So I thought it was segregating us more than anything.
Yeah.
My first thought was, isn't this like when black people had to use separate water fountains
that's
and
what you
separate
said.
toilets? So I thought it was segregating us, like only queer people go here. You can't use any other space, you go here. That's what it sounded like.
Yeah, and we said that's a reason for homophobes, just to be more at our throats, and like they will know our cars.
Yeah, they know where we've like, oh, if you're parked there, then you must be gay. I'm gonna key your car, I'm gonna slash your tires, I'm gonna steal your stuff.
Maybe that's why the cameras are for.
Is that all though?
Well, yeah, that's what they said.
Yeah, no. They said that they would monitor the cameras to see who was gay and who was a migrant. How can you see that in a person? Basically, this creates more harm than good.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and I think they should paint over it again, to be honest.
I mean, the idea of it being rainbow, LGBT pride flag,
Yeah.
and like showing their support and saying that anyone can park to show a support is kind of okay. But saying that it's for LGBT people and migrants, it's a bit weird.
The rainbow colours, they're not migrant colours.
No,
I don't like that they've grouped those two groups together. Maybe if it was like the progress flag with the black and brown stripes, maybe. But even that's stretching it a bit.
Yeah, again, like the parking spaces are called diversity spaces.
Yeah.
So if you want to make them diverse, just make some artwork that shows all the inclusion.
Yeah.
And don't make it like just LGBT people. Like, it's a bit weird. Like, why just LGBT and migrants?
Yeah.
Like, if you want to show people diversity, there are better ways to do it.
Yeah. Child and old age poverty, single moms.
Yeah, this part as well made me feel like there always are things that are more important to you than others.
Yeah.
Always. Like, if you feel like your problems are the most important, they are for you.
Yeah.
And it'll always be the case that someone else might not see your problems as big as you see them. That's perfectly normal. But it doesn't mean that they're not real. By making zebra crossings in Lithuania, in Vilnius, they have a LGBT colored one. LGBT pride flag colored one, right?
Yeah.
The one they painted black. The same woman...
Wait, so it's not even black and white again?
No, so the woman who got the cross at Kaunas Pride...
Yeah.
The same woman, I believe, organized the black painting of the rainbow colors, yeah.
I think she just has problems.
You think?
I think she's allergic to colors.
Yeah, so, things like that. Yes, you show your support, you you show that these people exist and it's okay. But just because the zebra crossing is LGBT pride colors doesn't mean that they say anything else is wrong then. Like, we need to take this out of our mindset. Just because I'm saying that black people's lives matter doesn't mean I'm saying to all white people to fuck off.
Yeah.
Like, yes, everyone matters.
Asking for change for one minority is not denying change from the majority.
Yes.
We're asking for equality and progress, not to shut other people out. We're asking for us to be punched up, not to punch you down.
Exactly. And that's what they need to understand. The minorities are not a threat, and they not want to be higher than you are. It's just, we just want equal rights.
We want rights. Next story, a woman named only as Amy was devastated when she discovered that her civil partner's adultery was not grounds for dissolution. The legal definition of adultery is sexual intercourse between a man and a woman. Amy's spouse cheated with another woman. The result of this loophole is that different gendered cheating is grounds for a divorce, but same gendered cheating is not. Sharing the details with BBC Wales, she said she noticed her wife's behaviours change, particularly her taking her phone with her into the bathroom and claiming she had meetings after work. With the help of location checking apps, Amy discovered that her wife was having an affair. Amy said one of the divorce lawyers she consulted with agreed that the law was completely unfair, but it was simply the way the system works. Amy had to say in her file that her partner had engaged in unreasonable behaviour. While Amy originally called for the law to change, the Ministry of Justice said there's no need for an amendment because of a new divorce bill which will be introduced in due course. Under current legislation, couples must cite a reason for their divorce, but the new bill will remove that need to put a stop to couples assigning blame at the end of a relationship. A spokesperson told BBC News, "By sparing them the need to play the blame game, we are removing the antagonism that this creates so families can better move on with their lives." I like that the law's going to change to that. That's very helpful.
Good,
yeah, but I couldn't find out when it's going to change though. It could happen next week, it could happen next year, I just don't know.
Knowing the government's probably 10 years
Pretty
from
much,
now.
Yeah. I mean, it's taken them this long to sort out so-called conversion therapy, which they still haven't done.
Oh, so the Queen said that it should be done, but they still...
So after the Queen's speech every year, they've got a year to sort everything out that she says, and I think they're leaving it till last because I read very briefly this afternoon that it could be done next spring. Yeah, they're really pushing it back, and I'm not surprised. I'm really not.
Yeah, but coming back to our news.
Yes, sorry.
Yeah, so everyone who's cheating with the same gender people are okay to cheat? Yeah. Because
that's not grounds for divorce.
No.
But like I said, Amy had to say it was unreasonable behaviour just to get out of that rule. Yeah. And that's not fair.
I mean, it is unreasonable behaviour if you run around cheating.
Of course, yeah.
But why?
But unreasonable behaviour could be abuse. It could be like drug addiction or something getting in the way of the relationship. It could be like putting a strain on the both of you.
Yeah.
Yeah. It could be anything. Basically, there's this loophole that gets them out of that, and that's not right. And they should be held accountable because they're cheaters. And finally, in Canada, the British Columbia Human Rights Tribunal has ruled that refusing to use someone's correct pronouns violates their human rights. It ruled in favour of restaurant server Jessie Nelson, 32, a non-binary, gender-fluid, transgender person who was fired from their job after asking the bar manager to use they-them pronouns to refer to them. He continued to use she-her pronouns with them and even used pet names for them like sweetheart and honey. When he refused to stop at Nelson's request, the issue boiled further, and 4 days later, they were fired. The restaurant owner said they had come on too strong, too fast, and were too militant. Nelson later took their case to the Human Rights Tribunal, contending that the deliberate misgendering was a case of workplace discrimination based on their gender identity and expression. Nelson said that the job at the restaurant was one of the first jobs they had where they felt confident enough to disclose who they were, but the discrimination was a piece piece of trauma in a long line of trauma for a trans person living a trans experience. They said, "I don't expect perfection around my pronouns. I never have." The judge ordered that the restaurant's management pays Nelson $30,000 in damages, as well as implement a pronoun policy and mandatory training for all staff and managers about diversity, equality, and inclusion.
Ha 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 ha.
Yay!
Oh, these
Progress.
stories are sweet.
Result.
Yeah. There's nothing worse than hearing things like sweetheart and darling and
I know.
especially from men.
Ugh.
Not all of men.
I can confirm that owner and the bar manager was a man.
Yeah, I thought so.
Yeah, and that's bad. That's inappropriate in the workplace anyway.
Yeah.
Whether you're cis or trans or non-binary.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
Whatever gender you are, just don't use those kinds of words.
I spoke about me changing my name and like how I changed it and how people at work reacted and stuff before.
Yeah.
So it just reminded me of that when my manager announced that I've changed my name, and a second after this woman comes out, dead names me.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, didn't you just hear what she said?
I'm sorry, English is not my first language.
I'm not gonna say anything more, but she's not the brightest person alive.
Is she not the sharpest tool in the shed?
Somebody. That's why I'm always glad when people say mate.
Yeah.
Mate is a nice way.
I've been getting mate a lot more recently. Although last time I went food shopping without you, the man on the till did call me love.
Ugh.
Ugh, and I didn't like that.
Yeah. Like, why do you even do that?
I don't know. I'm sure he would not call a fellow man love, would he?
Oh, I would love to see that.
Yeah. Like, if you've seen any stereotypical British man in the UK, they would not want to be called love by another man.
Imagine, like, your dad called love.
I know.
Would be probably like, what did you say? You fucking what? That's our news for this week.
Yeah, we're doing things a bit differently. Yeah, we got some music and then like posh voice at the beginning by moi.
Of course, because I can't read.
Yeah, you tried reading one of the stories about 5 minutes ago and you just went, bleh, nope.
I messed up one word. It wasn't that bad, but I'm not in a mood today.
You said flavour instead of favour.
Thanks.
And that was the last straw. That was the only straw, but yeah.
I don't have a lot of straws in my toolbox.
Why do you keep straws in your toolbox? No wonder they're not in there. They're not supposed to go in there.
Exactly. So yeah, let us know if you have any news over the week that you want to hear in the news segment, which gonna be a separate episode every week. We'll try to make it every week.
Yeah. Mental health permitting.
Yes.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Thanks for listening to this episode of The Non-Binary Show.
If you would like to be mentioned in a future episode, please send us your thoughts on today's topic to one of our socials.
Our Instagram is at non.by.neri.
Our Facebook at non.by.neri.show.
You can also email us at non.by.neri.pod@gmail.com.
Or send us a voice message at anchor.fm/nonbinary. That's all one word, no dots.
See you next time, and remember, you are valid.